two young minds set out to change the world. In the process, became a part of history, gathered unforgettable memories, and attained the unique opportunity of a lifetime. Visited Oslo, Norway, and met youths from around the globe, attended Nobel Prize giving ceremony, and they brought glory for themselves and country. The question now is, who is going to be the next?
I was basically expecting a huge round of applause. That's it. There you go. Yeah, so now I can begin. Every teenager dreams of being a superhero someday. And I think it's fair enough to say that we too got exactly that feeling when we were chosen as one of those 26 young guns from all around the world with one objective: peace.
You're right, we did feel like superheroes the day we won. We felt like superheroes when we went to Oslo. But I guess it ends today, because today we pass on the baton to the two winners of 2017.
So ladies and gentlemen, our honorable jurors, TYF delegates, our friends from the media, and all of you present here, we welcome you all to the grand finale of Telenor Youth Forum 2017, and a very good evening. Yes. This is how you applaud. I'm teaching you slowly, you see? All right.
We would like to thank all of our guests for joining us here tonight. We would especially like to thank our chief guest, who is on the way, Honorable Minister for Education of Bangladesh, Mr. Nurul Islam Nahid. We would also,
Hey, you can clap if you want to, whenever you want to.
We would also like to thank our chief guest, our special guest, Her Excellency, Ms. Cecil Bleakin, who has taken time out of her busy schedule for joining us here tonight. Thank you, ma'am.
Now, a little bit about Telenor Youth Forum. So this year, 2017's Telenor Youth Forum, under the theme Digitalization for Peace, Telenor Group invited youth from all of its operational regions, in Nordic regions, in Asia, in Europe, for the youth to come up with their ideas and perspective on digitalization for peace. And hence, you get to become the delegate for Telenor Youth Forum. So this Youth Forum gathers youth, these young guns from all over the world. They collaborate as teams, and they face like the most pressing challenges of the world, like climate change, mental health stigma, and so on.
As a part of this forum, the delegates first meet in Oslo and then the following year in Bangkok to work together as a team, build ideas, and turn them into realities. Tonight, our honorable jury panel is going to select, after careful evaluation, the two young minds who will be representing Bangladesh on the global stage.
That sounds like a lot of work, but let me tell you one thing. When you're in Oslo, you don't just work. You get to experience one of the most empowering experiences of your whole lifetime. You get to see the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony happening in front of your own eyes.
And don't forget, you get front row seats to the Nobel Peace Prize concert, where peace is loud.
So many things to look forward to. I think I'm just building pressure on those finalist delegates sitting around there. Without further ado, I'd like to call up on stage Mr. Qazi Mohammed Shahid, CHRO Grameenphone, to have his introductory remarks on today's beautiful occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Qazi Mohammed Shahid.
Thank you very much. A special guest, Her Excellency, Ms. Cecil Bleakin, Ambassador of Norway to Bangladesh, right? Honorable jurors, distinguished faculty members, honorable parents, our friends from media, and definitely my dear participants for 2017 Telenor Youth Forum. Good evening, and it's a privilege for me to stand on the stage and welcome you all to this grand finale of Telenor Youth Forum. I have been associated with this program for last 4 year, and this is my 5th year. And over these years, this has amazed me, right? How we have got great ideas from you boys and girls, and we have been fascinated that how you come up with so much of new, novel ideas. And during this process, we not only have probably benefited ourselves, I'm sure all the participants that have come through the rank, they have been benefited themselves too, because it has given them the opportunity to showcase their ideas, no matter whether the idea has gone through different stages and gone to Oslo. But I'm sure many of you have nurtured your ideas, taken into real implementation, and have benefited the society in a great, great way. And that's where our satisfaction lies. Definitely, the whole purpose is to make this as a platform, and then from that platform, to give it back to the society where we all operate. And we all have something to do for the society, and it's a great pleasure that this forum allows you people to do that. Now, over the years, I not only had opportunity to be a part of this in Bangladesh only. Last couple of years, I was in India, and over there, I saw that how the ideas came through and went up to Oslo. And what struck me is that the challenges in the society is not different. And across the world, people face same challenges. And there are various ways of attacking those challenges and bring about solution. And I've seen in different perspective how people go about bringing that solution. And I think this platform also gives you that opportunity to collaborate cross-border, because once you go and meet participants from 12 other BUs, from 12 other countries, and definitely that's a great opportunity to get a perspective from all the participants around the world and see how the solution can be even better. And that's also a great, great opportunity for all of us. It's also a pleasure for us to see how this platform is getting bigger and bigger. Every year, we get more and more participants. And this year, probably we started with about 1,500 participants. And then from 1,500, we've come down to the 7 only. And then, obviously, after today, we will have 2 participants who will go and present not only Grameenphone, but I guess Bangladesh. So, without doing further, I welcome you all. And I can tell you that next hour or so will be a fascinating experience where we'll get to see great ideas and see how promising that can be. So thank you very much. Thanks for coming. Over to you, James.
A huge thanks to Mr. Akazi Mahmoud Shahid for your enlightening and inspiring words. That's basically the best part about this youth forum, where you get to collaborate, you get to face these challenges, and you build solutions together. So I'm sure, being in this auditorium today, while watching this finale, you'd probably have a lot of questions about how did we come down to the 7 finalists. So now I have the privilege to show you an audiovisual about this whole journey of Telenor Youth Forum 2017, which you'll probably enjoy a lot, but I become nostalgic and a bit sad because I don't get to compete anymore. This time someone else is going to Oslo, which is like the best place to be on earth. So yeah, the audiovisual.
It's really unreal. I mean, it's an amazing thing that can't be described with words.
I don't really know how should I express my emotions right now. It's been a journey of a dream.
What it takes to bring world peace. Can digital be a solution to the youth challenges, reduce inequalities and bring peace? We have asked those questions to the young thought leaders of Bangladesh, and their responses were amazing in the 5th sprint of the Telenor Youth Forum.
This year, the amazing Telenor Youth Forum started with a press launch to connect the youth.
Finally, we kicked off the nationwide roadshows and went over to 16 top-ranked universities in and outside Dhaka.
So I first got to know about TYF from a roadshow that was hosted in my university. And that really inspired me and motivated me.
Our primary engagement was through social media. We kicked off from Grameenphone Facebook fan page and Telenor Youth Forum Bangladesh Facebook group. We got some of the vibrant change makers on board. The response we got was amazing.
In the social media, I saw the young change makers talk about how I have the power to change the world. So I thought, why not?
After a grand pre-hype, the application web portal was open for all.
I saw this video of last year's winner and I thought to myself, why not me? I logged into the website. It was super user-friendly. I registered myself within just a few minutes.
More than 1,400 inspiring ideas came through. The GP Ignite team took the charge and reviewed them to pick the best.
Some of them were great.
Great? They were awesome.
Being a tutor is going to be a tough task.
TYFers, game is on.
The top 61 participants out of 1,400 were invited to GP House for the next round.
And then we were invited to the coolest office in town, GP House. That felt wonderful.
We had multiple grooming sessions. We talked with experts from all fields about feasibility and sustainability. We learned how to turn our ideas into practical reality.
After the workshop, we were divided into 5 teams. We were given the opportunity to pitch our idea on the elevator pitch round.
The young minds had fantastic ideas, but we had to follow the rules of the competition. We could only invite 25 participants for the second round of semi-finals, and so we did.
Well, today, since there were fewer people, we got a chance to talk and spend time with the judges, get to know their feedbacks and views, and I hope that this works out in the future.
Finally, we have the best 7 for the grand finale. 2 of them will be selected to represent Bangladesh in the Global Forum in Oslo, Norway. May the very best ideas win.
And that is exactly how 1,400 ideas were cut down into just 7 who will be participating in the finale tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, more reasons to be excited. We have just received our honorable chief guest for the night, Mr. Nurul Islam Nahid, our Minister for Education. So a big round of applause for our chief guest. So I'd like to inform our friends from the media, if you'd like to take pictures, you are encouraged to come in front and have your shots. Yes, so now moving on. Now I have the honor to invite our special guest of the evening, Her Excellency Ms. Cecil Blecken, to come on the stage and offer us a few kind words. Ladies and gentlemen, on stage, Ms. Cecil Blecken.
Honorable Minister, dear finalists, ladies and gentlemen, it's such a pleasure to be here tonight and to be part of the jury in this very, very exciting and important competition for the Telenor Youth Forum. We are facing a range of challenges in the world today: violent conflicts, social and economic inequality, climate change, social instability. And these are the challenges that Telenor are inviting you to address through the Telenor Youth Forum. The theme for the Youth Forum is digitalization for peace. You might think that those two things doesn't really have much to do with each other. But if you think through what is it actually necessary for having peace and stability, that's economic growth, social stability, dialogue, communication, understanding, and digitalization can help us to achieve all this. So the link between peace and digitalization, I think, is very, very close. And I'm looking forward to hear how you are addressing this in your projects that you are going to present to us in a short while. And the Nobel Peace Prize is awarded in Oslo on the 10th of December every year. And every year for the last few years, Telenor, together with the Nobel Peace Center, has invited the finalists from the Telenor Youth Forum to participate in the celebration in Oslo, which is quite, it's quite an experience, as we already heard from your finalists. And it's not only that you're going to see the ceremony, but you are also there together with the finalists from the other Telenor countries around the world. In itself, that's a peace project, bringing together young people from so many different countries, with so many different backgrounds, working together to solve important problems for the world. Your innovation, your enthusiasm, your ideas are very important. Sharing them, working together, learning from each other, makes them even better, even more important for the society. So I look very much forward to hearing your projects today, and I wish you all the best for the future, and thank you for your enthusiasm and contribution to this. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Ambassador, for your very kind words. It's finally time for us to begin what we are here for. Without any further ado, let us kickstart our grand finale. And before we begin, I would like to introduce you to our jurors for the night.
First, we have Her Excellency, Ms. Sissel Blekken, Norwegian Ambassador to Bangladesh.
Next, we have on the panel Mr. Qazi Mohammad Shahid.
Up next, we have Mr. Nehal Ahmed.
Our fourth juror for the night is Ms. Tina Jabin.
And last, we have Mr. Qazi Mahabub Hussain. I remember Mr. Qazi from last year. He was my judge as well. So yeah, good to see you.
Each of our finalists have made it to the grand finale after a thorough evaluation. I mean, from being selected out of 1,400 is a big ask. And tonight as well, we are going to follow a very strict evaluation procedure. I would now like to ask Mr. Nehal Ahmed to please walk us through the evaluation criteria for the night. Can we please have the mic for Mr. Nehal Ahmed?
Hello? Yes, hi. Thanks, Abrashmi. Thank you very much. Before I go on with the evaluation criteria, I just would like to congratulate the 7 finalists one more time. A big, big round of applause for all of you. As you've stated, we will be judging the participants on the basis of their ideas, primarily. So we look at how big is the idea. We look at the specific problems that they're looking to solve. We look to see where is the relevance to the big theme of Telenor Youth Forum, which is digitalization for peace? We also want to see that it's not only a big idea, that they've actually thought through to implementation and the feasibility of implementing that big idea. And the final two areas are critical as well. We're looking for authenticity in their thinking. That doesn't mean it has to be the most original idea in the world, but we want to see the criticality of their thinking in terms of how they intend to address the problems that they've identified. And finally, we want to see how passionate they are. And this is not only in terms of their presentation, but we want to see where the inner passion is coming out or not. So these are roughly the 6 areas that we, the judges here today, will be looking for in each of the participants, each of the finalists.
Thank you very much, sir. That was the Head of Communications of Grameenphone Limited, Mr. Nehal Ahmed. Can we have a big round of applause? I'm very glad I am not participating this year because these sound like very stringent rules.
Exactly. And that is how the real game begins. I think all of you might be hearing some heartbeats, and those are coming from that very corner, like where we have the 7 finalists, you see. It's just so much easier to be here, and talk about you guys. All right? So now I'll have the honor to invite our first finalist, Syed Anaf Bakht, to present in front of all of you his innovative idea in today's forum. Ladies and gentlemen, Syed Anaf Bakht.
I don't think I'm a burden on society. Society is a burden on me. I wouldn't show my true identity because I am constantly in fear of what society thinks. These are some of the answers that Rida gave me. Rida living. Ladies and gentlemen, these 150,000 people belong to a marginalized transgender community. Now, when you think about it, the very mention of the word hijra blares sirens in the back of our minds. My objective is to change this view of associating social stigma and taboo to a mere word by providing an opportunity to the members of the transgender community to learn a new skill and to have a job that is not limited to begging, ritual performances at ceremonies, and sex work. Before I even move on to the big idea, I'd like to share an experience that made me incubate this idea. So I was stuck in traffic in Farmgate where third gender people were begging for alms. You could see the apprehension that everyone had for the transgender people. Everyone in their cars were rolling up their windows and locking their doors. Upon realizing how bad they must have felt, I called out to one of them. Her name was Shaun, and apologized. With a hearty smile, she thanked me and proceeded to tell me that maybe if she had hidden her identity, she maybe would have had a different life, have different opportunities to earn a living. This thought-provoking statement from Shaun led me to my big idea, which in its simplest form is that I will initially train a group of 5 to 10 transgender people to make handicrafts which will be sold on an e-commerce platform. Handicrafts ranging from Lokshikatha to more modern bracelets. Moving on to how I'd approach the transgender community, how I train them. These questions are answered in my execution strategy. Now, for approaching the Hijra community, I am collaborating with Bondhu Social Welfare Society, one of the few NGOs working for the betterment of the transgender community, to act as the mediator between me and the transgender community. For the training program, Mr. Martin from Hope Worldwide Bangladesh has agreed to give his full support to Tritiyo Lingo. I have divided the time leading up to the launch of the Tritiyo Lingo website into 3 phases. In phase 1, I'll be directly selling the beta products to customers through exhibitions hosted by Drig Gallery, Made in Bangladesh, and independent exhibitions in places such as Ajo Idea Space to collect customer responses. In phase 2, I appeal to the CSR side of some of the biggest e-commerce platforms in Bangladesh so that they give me a slot on their website to talk about Tritiyo Lingo and then sell some of my handicrafts to attract a larger target market. Phase 3 will be in tandem to phase 2, and Tritiyo Lingo will undergo a full-scale launch in which all the product varieties and the stories behind the artisans who made them will be available on the website. In the long run, I see Tritiyo Lingo as not just an e-commerce platform, but an integrated portal where members of transgender community from across the globe can come together, create an account, enlist their skills, and sell the products that they make. I see this achievable because 2.8 crore units of handicrafts have been sold in 2017 alone. In the pilot project for Tritiyo Lingo, we'll have an initial market share of 0.075%, which accounts to a market size of 22.8 lakh taka. I have also estimated the annual growth rate at 29%, which would mean by 2022, we'd see an increase to market size to 89 lakh taka. The solutions that I see Tritiyo Lingo providing is that it will provide employment to a deprived community. It will also give them an opportunity to earn a stable income and to improve living standards, which will allow them to improve their living standards because they were deprived of actively taking part in social, economic, and financial sectors. The training program will give them, teach them a new skill, but it will also give them a basic education which will empower and engage them. Transgender people are abused, they're raped. Transgender children are often given up at birth. Through campaigns highlighting transgender rights, I'm going to educate and enlighten the society. These handicrafts products will be sold in both the domestic market and exported to foreign lands, allowing this transgender community to play a role in both economy and the society. As far as the implementation of the idea elsewhere, the authenticity of this idea, I haven't found any direct implementation of the idea elsewhere, but Bontu Social Welfare Society is an NGO that is directly fighting for the rights of the transgender community, and Arong has been in the handicraft business since 1978. The differentiating factor for Tritiyo Lingo is that in its program for the training and employment of members of the transgender community, the resources that I will require is the initial financing to pilot my project, mentorship to guide me through the execution of this idea, and Telenor established networks to bring to fruition my long-run plan. Through the implementation of this idea, I want to help the people out there, the same people like Hridoy, stuck in a limbo. These people have to put on a facade of the gender that society has dictated appropriate for them. Through the implementation of this idea, I want to change that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna, for that wonderful presentation. I mean, just the first presentation of the night, and we start off so brilliantly. Now I would like to hand over the floor to the judges to ask Anaf any questions they may have.
Anaf, thank you very much for trying to tackle a problem where we all try to close our eyes to. I do congratulate you for picking up such a topic. Just help us understand. Through this, obviously you're going to benefit this community, no doubt about this. What's your thought about bringing about peace in the society at large through this initiative?
I see that this 150,000 community in only Bangladesh, and when I think about the global perspective, this is going to exponentially increase. And when we can really love, really include all these people, I think this defines peace. This defines the entire concept of peace.
We still have time. Any more questions?
Yeah, and I would also like to thank you for this very valuable presentation and addressing such a difficult issue. I see that you plan to partner up with very important institutions, organizations. But my question is, do you also have any kind of sort of direct contact or links to the Hijra community? And how do you have any idea about how receptive they will be to your idea?
So through my interview with Hridoy in Hijra Kollan Shamiti, which simply translates to Transgender Rights Association, something around that line, is the condition of that place is horrible. The situation these people are in is something that I could not comprehend when I went there. To understand, Hridoy is about roughly 2 years older than me. And he only could graduate till class 9. And no jobs would take him in, and he suppresses because he thinks this is a negative thing, this revealing who he truly is, he thinks this is a negative thing. To change his perspective, when I asked him that, would you work if you were given an opportunity? His reply was, give me a job, I will show you what I can do. And I think this resonates among the transgender community. And I think that is why they will work, if given an opportunity.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for the wonderful presentation, and you have been the first one, so that takes quite a lot of courage. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Today I get to be the mean judge. So I think what you're addressing is a larger issue than having an e-commerce set. It's about economic freedom. So I haven't heard so much around what you are really trying to do above and beyond your e-commerce platform, because the issue is right. What you are addressing, how you're addressing, seemed a bit narrow.
Okay, Anaf, if you could quickly wrap that up because we're out of time.
In that context, what I said was I wanted to make this an integrated platform where members of the transgender community, so it would be a platform on the internet where members could create an account and then address the skills that they can provide to the community, and then sell the products that they make. So this is where I see addressing the bigger issue coming in. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Anna, for your presentation and Q&A. Now moving on, I would like to invite on stage our second presenter of the night, Ahsan Rani. Could you please come up on stage? A big round of applause for finalist 2.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Ahsan Rani. Firstly, I want to thank Telenor Youth Forum for giving me a chance to present my idea in a platform like this. Secondly, I want to mention that I am not presenting an idea only. I am presenting a reality. Why I say that, I will explain it later. So, I will start with a story. In a place in Bangladesh, a child was born to a family. The family was so happy that they are blessed with a very beautiful child. But after a few days, they noticed that the child is a disabled person. And it was a blessing for them a few days ago, but when they get to know that the child is a disabled person, the blessing become the result of the biggest sin of their life. So, the child doesn't get enough attention, enough education, and they don't get enough courage to do something by their own. And they lead a very painful life. But can you tell me what is the fault of that child? Do you have any answer? I don't think so. So, if you focus on this is the story of 1.5 crore people in our country only. And this is the story of 1 billion people all over the world. I want to change the destiny of all the child in the world, starting from Bangladesh, through my idea. But how? So let's talk about my plan now. My plan and project name is Lifepedia. This is a project for the betterment of the life of all the disabled people out there. And my goal is to help them becoming a person who can earn and lead a prestigious life. For that, I have an idea that has two parts. The first part, at the first stage, I want to organize some programs through Lifepedia among the parents of disabled people as well as everyone of the society. And after the program will organized, the parents will take good care of the child and send them to schools. And you all know that we are lack of schools for disabled people. So I have already trained some teachers, and I have already started 2 schools in Panchagor in Bangladesh for the disabled people. And I have already started a volunteer organization that is called Livepedia, and I have a team in every district of our country who will help me to gain this goal. So we are trying to initiate schools for disabled people in every district of our country. And if we get help from any corporate company, then we are ready already to build schools in every district of our country. So in the second stage, when the child become an adult, we will provide them training in our training center and make them able to work for a company or get to do something by their own. We'll also create some small entrepreneurs with the help of the corporate sectors, of course, and give them work to earn for their family. And we believe that if we can do that, when the disabled people will start earning, the family will give them more priority and the thinking of the society will change. And you all know that especially able people need medical support all the time. And we are creating medical team in every medical college in our country. And the volunteers of the medical universities will provide free medical treatment at their area. So if you see all the ideas, you can understand that we are giving a full life support to especially able people and help them to lead a better life. So at first I told you that this is a reality, not only an idea but also a reality, and this is the reality. I have created life-pedia.com already. This is the website now, and especially able people can find any kind of opportunity news, training news, education about their life, inspiring stories of successful disabled people, treatment opportunities and process, information about the community, special features in newspapers, news of the community, and many more. And I want to mention that this is the first website for the disabled people in Bangladesh and one of the most useful websites for disabled people in all over the world. And we are getting response from all over the world. So I have already told you that this is the reality. We have 2 schools in Panchagor already, and you can see the photos of our schools. And I have more plans, like I want to build an app which will work differently to every kind of disabled people. Like a blind people can use the app by just hearing the notifications and get online training by hearing the audios in our website. The second thing I want to do is to create some videos to provide training to all the specially able people online. And specially able people can see or hear videos through their phone or computer or from the IT center built by the ICT ministry. And I need the help from the government, especially ICT ministry, education ministry, social welfare ministry, and corporate sector also to provide all the support. And I want to especially mention that when I pitched the idea and my work to United Nations, they liked the idea so much, and they invited me to United Nations Youth Assembly this year in United Nations head office, USA. So at last, I want to mention that if you want to bring peace in the world, you must have to think about these disabled people. And for that, I have planned about for 1 year, and I have made some collaboration with some organizations who are already working for the disabled people in our country. And I am getting them with me, and I hope I also get all of you with me to help these disabled people. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ronnie. It was so inspiring to see that how you believe in what you are doing, and you were making the whole world to believe in what you are doing. So now is the floor to the judges to ask him questions to more about his efforts. Judges.
Great initiative, and thank you very much for presenting it to us. Just a quick question. It seems you're already implementing your idea. What sort of feedback have you received? And if you can just articulate really quickly how you received that feedback from specially abled people who are benefiting from your service.
So I went to Panchagor, where I established 2 schools, and I talked to the families of the disabled people, and they were like, we can't do anything with them because we can't find schools, we can't find jobs for them, and they are like useless and they are sitting in homes. So, when I talk to the disabled people personally, they say to me that the society is not for them actually, because it was emotional, and I was so inspired when I went to Panchagor to do this in real actually, because their condition is like the old situation of girls. The girls in the past was like a sin. When a girl child was born in a family in the past, it was like a result of sin to the family. But the time has changed for the girls, but not for the disabled people. Still people are thinking that if a disabled people is born to their family, it is a result of their biggest sin.
Thank you very much, Son. I think it's a great idea, definitely. You touched upon the digital part of the solution.
Yeah.
As you are already working on this, have you already built something, or the digital solutions are already idea? If you have built something, if you could share with us what has been already built and what you need to build further.
I already mentioned that life-pedia, you can Google it, life-pedia.com. There is a website, and we can find all the news and information in that website. And I have some more plans, like I want to make an app, and I want to create some videos, and I have some other plans also. I can't explain all this in just 7 minutes.
We can afford one more question. We still have 40 seconds.
Thank you, Hassan. I think that's a very noble dream, and it's definitely needed, not just in Bangladesh, but also worldwide. Yes. My question is, you are going to work with disabled people or physically challenged, mentally challenged or whatnot. And that's a very big area. Yeah. Is there a specific area that you are thinking about focusing in the beginning, and then expand it as you go along?
I am focusing on schooling, because it is the first step of the child's life, and the second thing is I want to provide information to the disabled people of all ages, because if an adult disabled people can find information in our website, then he can find a job, or he can apply for a scholarship or something like that.
Thank you so much, Ronnie. Thank you for your wonderful presentation. It was inspiring to listen to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, before we move on to our next finalist, I would just like to give you another exciting news that we have just been joined by the CEO of Grameenphone, Mr. Michael Foley. So he's just so much of an energetic guy, and he just rushed towards this ceremony from another commitment that we had. So it's great to have you here. So now, moving on to our third presentation, and we're going to invite Mr. Rakib Rahman Shaun to invite and to present your idea in front of all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, Rakib Rahman Shaun.
Digitalization for peace is not just a string of words. It's a commitment that the world demands from the youth right now. I'm expected to refer to an event or incident from the recent past that disturbed the peace around us and then give a solution to it. Let's do it in a different way. Instead of moving into the past, let's travel time. Say 3 years from now, maybe in 2020, one fine evening when everyone at GP House was having a great day at work, suddenly a hostage attack takes place. Something terrible, something like Holly Edison. investigations came out with an information that all the terrorists who are behind the planning or directly involved in the attack were young Rohingya boys who fled from Myanmar to Bangladesh in the year of 2017 and lived at the Rohingya camp for 3 years together. Every GP employee right now in this house felt a lack of peace inside them. Something that I felt when I first thought about this. Now, I might have sounded like a parrot astrologer when I assumed such a big incident, but the truth is, the process has already begun. This article from Dhaka Tribune says Muhammad, who is a young Rohingya boy, was arrested because of taking part in illegal drug trading. And who doesn't know? That's the first step. So I tried to look into the depth of this event and find out why this might take place and came out with this. When suddenly education gets stopped for a school-going aged boy and girl, what will happen? They will lose their aim in their life, their moral degradation will take place, and this will ultimately take them to the path of crime. Every refugee kid across the globe right now who's being termed as a children has every possibility of being categorized as a terrorist tomorrow if proper education is not provided. With the dream and aim of not letting the term children being replaced by the term terrorist comes my big idea. Make them strong. Make Them Strong will be an organization working for the education of refugee children across the globe through video classes. 65 million people across the globe has been forced out of their home. 65 million. If this staggering number doesn't take your peace away, I don't know what will. If the dead body of Alan, the Syrian refugee boy lying on the seashore, doesn't take your peace away, I don't know what will. If the story of that Rohingya woman who lost her child while fleeing from Myanmar but was still holding on to him as if he was alive doesn't take your peace away, I don't know what will. When I first came up with the theme of Telenor Youth Forum 2017, Digitalization for Peace, I knew it was right now, the biggest barrier between us and global peace was nothing but the refugee crisis. Now, Telenor Youth Forum talks about bringing on a change. What is the change that we are going to bring? 90% of the children has an access to primary school education, whereas for the refugee children, the percentage drops to 50%. We dream of an equity here. Now, how will Make Them Strong work? Details, and very important part. The first thing that we will do, we'll point out the language of the majority people of the refugee group. Because I really believe, and stats shows that language is the biggest barrier in case of imparting education to a refugee group. Let me give a stat regarding that. 50% of the Syrian kids who enrolled their name into different camp schools of Syria dropped out just because they were feeling inconvenience while studying in a foreign language. Now, to solve that, what we will do, we'll point out teachers and people who are expert in different subjects, and most importantly, we'll be able to deliver the lectures in that particular language. Now, let me give an example. Like the Rohingya people talks in Chittagonian language. My friend Naim, who comes from Chittagong, is good at maths. So what I will do, I will ask him to make videos on different topics of maths, delivering his lecture in Chittagonian language, but keeping the mathematical terms intact. So after making the videos, we will make contents according to different age groups. These contents will make sure every child goes through a continuous process of education, but not just some random classes that 90% of the organizations are doing right now. Remember the problem chart that I showed? Make Them Strong will have a huge impact on it. It will break the chain and reform it this way. When sudden stoppage in education will be replaced by continuous process of education, they will ultimately become strong and become a global asset. Okay, I have tried to design Make Them Strong in such a way that we require the least amount of resources. Like right now to initiate, we'll be needing some good video projectors at the camps and maybe some good cameras to record the classes. Kiva is right now one of the biggest online crowdfunding platforms in the world. And recently it has launched a program naming World Refugee Fund. And I've already mailed them stating that we'll be requiring a $2,000 loan to initiate Make Them Strong at the camps of Teknaf right now. But to repay the loan and make my project a sustainable one, we'll have our own online crowdfunding branch. And the website building process is already on. Finally, about the scalability, I think it's one of the strengths of my idea. Right from the first day I had Make Them Strong in my head and heart, I didn't just want to sound good with it. Rather, I wanted to sound feasible. I've tried to keep things simple right from the beginning. I didn't even go for online classes because I know it's not every time possible to match the schedule between the teachers and the refugee children who will be running for reliefs every now and then. And network can come to issue. So I've tried to keep things simple. And I really believe the scalability can be done on the international level. And yes, finally, it's on us to decide. We let a huge proportion of our generation become a global asset, or we make them the greatest threat to our peace in a few years. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rakib, for yet another brilliant presentation. We could feel your energy from the audience. Now, over to the judges for asking Rakib questions. Please.
Rakib, I think, first of all, I love the energy that you brought here today. But also, I want to commend you for being so forward-looking. When we are all thinking about how we solve the problem of today, you're thinking about tomorrow. Now to the mean part. I understand that this is a way forward for us to make sure that division never happens. But also, the division in terms of education and inclusion never happens. But also, I'm aware that this is a group of people who have just fled one of the most violent territories. And then they're still trying to figure out how they earn food for the next hour. How do you really convince them to let their kids come to your school and study?
Okay, sir. So like I said, sir, I've tried to keep things simple because I will know the group of people I'll be dealing with has no idea they're going to have the next meal or not. So what I have to do, that I have to go to the camp, and like when I go into the projector, like most of the time the children will be idle. Definitely there will be tense, but they will be idle. When I go to the camps, and in this generation, every father and mother knows what's the importance of education. So if I go to the camp and I can make them understand that yes, you are in a hard position of life has been harsh to you, but also you have to see tomorrow. Anytime you can go to back to their life, or then suddenly you find that your child is like uneducated. So I think it can be done when I go to the camp with some simple ideas, like the camps. I can start with some interesting classes, like something like the mystery of science, or like that can draw. I can draw their attention with them. So that's the thing I'm working on.
The people that come to the camps, they are of very different ages. Because what you're talking about, science, would attract the older ones, which might have some education from before. Quite a large number of them probably wouldn't even be able to read and write. Do you have any ideas about how to address that during your lectures?
Okay, sir, ma'am, like I said, that we will have different contents for different age groups. Like, we can have some for like 4 to 6. So I have to do some homework that what part of the curriculum they were at their home country. Because after homeworking that, I will know at what position of education they are like. Like 4 to 6, I can teach them some basics of mathematics. But if they're like quite older, who have already learned the basics, so I can teach them something like the applications of the basic rules. So this way I can divide them into different age groups and draw their attention.
So we've reached the end of time. Yeah.
Hi, Rakib. Thank you so much. That was a very good presentation.
My pleasure, ma'am.
And absolutely very, very passionate reason, you know. So my question is, so a lot of the NGOs are working in this area. They're, you know, big organizations, very structured. They know what they're doing. How are you different from
Rakib,
what they're doing?
I would request you to wrap that up quickly.
Okay. Let me give an example. Like JUSOR is right now one of the biggest organizations working on this sector, but they have clearly written on their website that we will be working only for the Syrian kids. Now, Make Them Strong will be something that will be working all over the globe. And I have also mentioned about the language issue, that most of the NGOs are not really given attention because the stat of 50% dropout shows that very clearly. And also, I think this is a very much plus point of mine.
All right. Thank you, Rakib. Now, thank you so much. Big round of applause for him. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite on stage our fourth finalist for tonight, Khondakar Shamil Murtaz. Shamil, please come on stage for your presentation.
Imagine a group of young children gathered under a streetlight near your house every single night. Now you take a look at them and you realize that they haven't had a complete meal for an entire day. Now you want to do something for them, but you don't know what. That is where my idea comes in. Foodscape. Locate, donate, and eradicate urban hunger. According to Right to Food Bangladesh, a study was conducted in late 2016, according to which 5.5% of the total food procured in Bangladesh goes to waste. 1.1% is wasted right from our very plates, and all that results in urban hunger. Now, my idea is to create a food donation app, one that bridges the gap between the haves and the have-nots in their nearest localities, making use of geolocation. The connection is to take place at two levels. Number one, individual households with leftover foods can be linked to individual people in need of food scattered across the streets of the city. Number two, larger organizations with more amount of food at their disposal, such as hotels, restaurants, wedding halls, and corporate houses, can be linked to orphanages, old age homes, shelters, charities, and even the slums of the city. Now, the major beneficiaries of my idea are these groups of people that you've just seen. However, the target audience is not limited to any particular group of people. It can be anyone and everyone with linked to a mobile phone and internet connection. Now, you can be a donor willing to donate food, or you can be a nonprofit organization expecting a food donation. And both you groups of people can download the app and get equally benefited by it. My idea helps to eliminate urban hunger, thereby putting an end to hunger-induced crimes such as theft, robbery, burglary, and so on. It helps to end food wastage, thereby saving a large amount of resources and protecting the environment overall. It helps to save time and money, not only for the individual, but for the economy overall. And did you know that by saving on food wastage, we can save up to $310 billion worth of economic value in developing countries such as our own? My idea can also play a major hand in one of the most pressing issues of our time, the Rohingya food crisis. The uniqueness of my idea lies in its use of geolocation. Using geolocation, you can pinpoint an area on the map as a hunger spot. Now, what is a hunger spot? Just like I've mentioned, suppose you see needy people gathering in a certain area, and you can immediately pinpoint that area as a hunger spot on my app, and we will get notified. Our volunteers are going to check it out, and after confirmation, we will take action and donate food in these hunger spots. Next, you can also tag yourself as a potential source of leftovers. But you have to put in the amount of food you're going to donate so that we can know beforehand how many people your food can feed. You can also receive photos and testimonials from the people you feed. Thereby, you know that our activation is 100% authentic. There will also be a goodwill point system, which adds up to a Foodscape certification, which we will give to the restaurants, the corporate houses, the wedding halls, and the hotels that deliver food to us on a day-to-day basis. And these organizations can use this certificate to bolster their eco-friendly image. How does delivery work? 3 simple and easy steps. You go for self-service. You download the app, locate your nearest destination, go up to the destination, donate the food, or receive the donation by yourself. Or the second option is where you request us to do the delivery for you, or receive the delivery on your behalf. And this is completely free of charge. The third option is where we can take support from NGOs who have a wide access in the slum areas. And this can also help us to bring down the costs overall. In order to bring my idea to life, I require to develop an easy-to-use and efficient app. I need trained volunteers who are passionate to work for these needy people throughout the night. I require trusted partners who will ensure that the needy get their food. I require intermediate storage facilities so that the food doesn't spoil. And finally, I'll require sufficient delivery vehicles and research and analytic tools. One major challenge that I might face going forward is, how do I keep my donors coming back again and again and again? Now, the answer to that lies in how I plan to keep my business sustainable. Now, I contain a large amount of market data on what sort of food remains as a leftover on what particular days of the month, right? Now, using this data, I can create detailed reports, which larger organizations like hotels and restaurants can use to track the changes in tastes and preferences of their customers on a day-to-day basis, based on which they can make better buying decisions, they can track their surplus, and improve on their bottom line. But they can get these reports from us exclusively, but of course, at a certain price. Next, If you haven't noticed already, my app is one of the best platforms for restaurants and hotels to advertise themselves to the general masses. So the more they donate to us, the more they're actually advertising themselves. Also, the goodwill point system. The more they donate, the more are their chances of getting that certificate from me, which they can use to bolster their eco-friendly image and appeal to their internal and external stakeholders. There's also a future plan where I plan to get a permit from the government, whereby when someone donates food to me, they can get a tax rebate. And if I can manage to pull this off, the number of donors for my idea are going to increase exponentially in the coming years. The rate at which the internet population in Bangladesh is increasing, and currently it stands at well over 67 million internet users, according to BDRC, that day is not far away when we can proudly say, using the power of Foodscape, we have put an end to urban hunger. And by achieving zero urban hunger, I believe that we can achieve the ultimate peace through the power of digitalization. Let's all take an oath here today to donate the food to the needy. Let's make sure we feed the needy, not the landfills. Thank you very much. That'll be all from me.
Thank you, Shamil. We feel so proud of the efforts and the work that you've done so far on gathering all this information. So now, over to you, judges, to ask him questions. Sure.
Yes.
Great presentation,
Thank you,
great initiative, and great idea. A quick question. How do you ensure food safety?
Like I've already mentioned, the trained and volunteers we're going to train them in food safety as well. They're going to check the quality of the food, they receive the delivery, and only if it is up to the mark, then we will make the delivery possible. Also, I'm ensuring the food safety by providing the goodwill points to the larger organizations. If they don't donate the good quality food to me, I'm not going to be giving them the goodwill points. So at the end of the day, that's not beneficial for them or me. So by taking these measures, I'll ensure the food safety for the people.
We still have time for a few more questions.
Right, great idea.
Thank you, sir.
The question, I mean, you said one of the USP for this is geolocation. I understand geolocation will come to play for the donors, but when it comes to recipient, obviously there is an intermediary, but when it comes to the real needy people, can you explain how the geolocation is going to come into play? Because they don't have food. I mean, you can't expect them to have smartphones. So if you could explain that, how you're planning to bridge that gap.
Thank you very much, sir. Like I mentioned, the theory of the hunger spots. What are these hunger spots? Suppose you're going back to your home from your office, and you're noticing that poor people, the needy people, they gather in a certain spot on the road on a day-to-day basis. Now, what you do is you pinpoint that area as a hunger spot on our app, and we will get notified. And after that, our volunteers are going to check it out, whether actually the needy people are gathering in that place or not. And based on that, we're going to check that at the hunger spot and donate food in that area. And since this is a day-in, day-out process, the food comes in daily, the food goes out daily. For example, you pinpointed an area as a hunger spot in the morning. We will get notified in the morning and do the donation as early as possible.
We still have time for one more question.
Okay, let me take it. First of all, very energetic presentation, so thank you for that. What I do not agree, however, is what you are pointing as your biggest challenge. It's not returning donors, but think about our country where after every wedding, it's already too late. And therefore, to keep the food good, you need the most efficient logistics company to support you. That I didn't see in your presentation. And can you elaborate how do you want to solve that problem?
Sir, for the wedding halls, I have mentioned in one of my slides, I need intermediate storage facility. The intermediate storage facility is for maintaining safe food that I get from the wedding halls. And the wedding halls is not our only option. We have other options. But if you're asking exclusively about the wedding halls, the storage facility will be used to a great extent for ensuring the food safety so that it doesn't spoil.
Thank you, Shamil. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Shamil Murtaz for you.
Thank
you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you thought the journey of our finalists to the final has been all seriousness, you're wrong.
Yeah, it's fun when you're on the stage of the finals and you see the host is coming up because you were running over time and he's going to just cut you off.
Wasn't that you last year? And now you're cutting people off this time. So
Okay, that was me last year, but that's the reason why I became the host this year, so that no one gets to do that to me. How about that? Keeping all the jokes aside, we thought you all needed a nudge. Shamil's presentation was energetic, but we wanted to share a few fun-filled and enjoyable moments in the journeys of these 7 finalists towards this finale today. So yeah, we have an AV for you. This is going to be fun. Watch this.
can we please have the AV?
The experience was truly amazing. Sorry. So far, and easy.
Super user-friendly.
This portal was open for all.
Now we have পিছন থেকে ডিস্টার্ব করছে
একটু পরে করো।
সরি
So scripted. This is so scripted.
Well, this video got me nostalgic as well, reminded me of 2015 Telenor Youth Forum. So we've had fun. Now it's time to move on with our presentations. I would like to invite on stage the 5th finalist for tonight, Mia Mokhaing, for her presentation. Mia Mokhaing, can we please have you on stage?
Before getting on the stage, I asked Bashir sir, how many people are present here today? He said around 300. 300 different people, 300 different definitions of peace. So, what does peace actually look like? To me, peace certainly looks like this. Ladies and gentlemen, these 3 women have shattered glass ceilings and have achieved the truest sense of gender equality. With the advent of 21st century, when women's ambition are sky high, it is unfortunate, yet true, that the problems women face today are sky high as well. And this is what a world without security for women looks like. The problem we identify today, ladies and gentlemen, is very simple. Lack of safety for women on the streets. Now, panel, imagine very hard. What if we had a collaborative idea to facilitate secure movement for women on the streets? Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Platform Mukti, Gotishilotai Mukto Nari. Platform Mukti will have few conventional features, and it's going to be accessible through a website, a hotline, and an app. Now I wondered, regarding all these problems, why don't we prevent crime in the very first place? So I turned my mood onto Google, and I said, show me what's up. And he told me about this amazing app called Waze, which operates in the West. So what Waze does is, it collects real-time information from users and translates it into traffic conditions. This is a brilliant idea, and I thought, hey, we could totally replicate this idea and use it for safety conditions for women. So we're going to build a map which is going to be a community-driven GPS navigation app, which means we are going to translate real-time information provided by users and translate it into safety conditions. For example, if you open the map, you are going to see what's up in the road. For example, whether there is a sexual assault, is someone getting mugged, the shady region, say in Mohammadpur or whatnot, right? But more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to show different safety routes where it's going to connect people to the safest and the earliest possible time to get to a safe place. But see, most apps that we have in this world today are accessible only through apps. Now, imagine a garment worker who is traveling to, say, from Mohammadpur to Kakrail. Who is she going to report the news to? She doesn't have the resources. So, considering this spatial lower socioeconomic class, which can also go and cater to all socioeconomic classes, we are going to have a hotline that's going to connect you to different law enforcement agencies so that you get the support in the shortest time possible. And it's also going to tell you about different area ratings. Now, to implement this idea, we need few resources, right? First of all, we will need to connect with BTCL to develop this helpline. We will have to connect with Women's Support and Investigation Center of Dhaka Metropolitan Police and also telecommunication companies to send SMS in non-internet areas. On the front side of the chain, we will need developers for platform hotline. We will need training emergency responders, which is very important and a crucial point of this entire project. And in the longer run, in the future, we plan to collaborate with BRAC and United Nations Women's Safe Cities Free of Violence against Women and Children. Now, in this process, we're probably going to have few potential challenges. For example, gaining trust. For this, we are going to replicate an idea. For example, we have Uber users of Bangladesh or say traffic alert, where people are willing to provide information and even post queries, right? And we see that it's very effective. So we are going to have a social media engagement through this. On the other hand, for information processing, we are going to train the responders so that they can connect to people in the shortest possible time. And for adaptation, we will have mass ATL and word-of-mouth marketing and endorsements of celebrities that the world believes in. For example, the faces of the people we have already shown in the very first slide. The KPI, to understand whether we are progressing in the right direction, we are going to see the change in the number of users, change in the number of reported incidents, and change in the number of investigations with due short time or after a definite interval of time. The big question. So, where does peace come in? Panel, do understand that the sort of empowerment we are talking about is not like any other empowerment. It is specifically information empowerment for women as well as the police. And how so? So when you have the information, you can go out and channel support to the users or the victims, right? And when you have the support, women feel safer to report. With more reports, you get to go out and carry on successful investigations. That means the police can work on the image of themselves that has degraded over the past decades, which means it's a win-win situation for both the stakeholders. It gives the women a particular agency, right? They feel confident, so they can go out, interact with the society, and have more participation. With more participation, ladies and gentlemen, we tell you that we are going to have more exposure, which means in the longer run, the gap, the gender disparity, we are going to take one step forward to reduce this gender disparity. In this process, ladies and gentlemen, to understand that the chaos around you slowly decreases, right? And this sort of an agency is the place where we see peace comes in. And this peace comes for digitalization of peace. Now, when I was coming here, I called my mom, who's in Chittagong, and I told her, Ma, I'll be presenting in the finale, wish me best of luck. And my mother said, it's going to be late. It's unsafe. Ma, I would rather have you alive in my life than lose you in the process of achieving your dreams. She has her legit concerns. Ladies and gentlemen, the idea here is simple, a message that's very important. No matter how much you inspire women, no matter how much you educate them, they'll be stuck in the same loop of problem if you don't connect them with the world of opportunities. And do you know where the world of opportunities lies? It's right across the door. Let's beat patriarchy by giving our women the agency of their own change. Let's make streets safe for women with platform mukti, because we believe empowerment comes through mobility. Gotishilotai mukto nari. Thank you.
Thank you, Mia Mokhaing, for addressing such a contemporary issue. So I'll straight go to the judges for questions.
Hi.
Fantastic idea, fantastic presentation. I wish you all the best of luck. Very quick question: as you Googled and found Waze, was it? Did you find any other app that addressed this sort of issue in any other country? Could you get some learnings from there?
Regarding the map, no one does that till far, but they do have that connects them to local law enforcement agencies where they can report the problems, but they do not have the map themselves.
We still have time for more questions. Yeah.
Again, thank you so much for the very wonderful presentation. I really get moved with how you concluded your speech. But I also felt that app is part of the solution, which allows people to access to more information.
Yes, sir.
But there is also a mindset game, and that's the bigger game. And that's not something that we can solve with an app. You have a problem that's worth solving. What you are pitching today felt like you are missing that element in your story.
Sir, as I have shown in the roadmap to peace, we believe that with the endorsements of celebrities, for example, Salma Khatun, we believe it's possible to send out the message and also to understand that it's not just an app. It also has a hotline which caters to the lower socioeconomic class of people, right? So there are already helplines in Bangladesh, but we don't know about it. So if we can reach this message, even to a garment worker or school-going kid, or even the highest socioeconomic class of women, we still think that it's possible to breach the gap.
Do we have any questions from the female representations? Yeah.
I think using something like Waze is a great idea. That's what I use when I'm in San Francisco, and it works. So that's fine. But in the context of Bangladesh, even in Dhaka, how would you make sure that the safety routes are consistently safety routes? Because even in Gulshan or even in Dharmandi, there are places where areas where lots of crimes are happening, especially related to women. So how would you make sure that these routes are consistently safe?
Panel, the USP here is the database here, right? So what we do is we can incentivize users to provide information. For example, we can collaborate with women brands, say Arong, and tell them like, if you provide this much information, we are going to give you discounts on your next sale. So this is how we help Arong to improve their brand and associate with women empowerment. And also at the same time, we allow users, encourage them to provide information. And also, we are going to use information from past police reports.
So, yeah, sure.
If you have time for a short question more, I would also like to thank you for raising this very important issue, and it's quite challenging. You were saying that there are a number of people who would not have the access to the app and have the smartphone, so you would have a hotline. How do you sort of transfer the information that you receive in the hotline into the app? Do you have plans for connecting those two?
Ma'am, for the hotline, I think that, for example, when you go for the social media engagement, we are going to talk about the holistic approach of the platform itself that consists of 3 things, right? And for the lower class women, we think we can have branch associations, for example, like Momtaj, who caters to poor women and the rural women in themselves.
So ladies and gentlemen, Mia Mokhaing, put your hands together. Now is the time for our 6th finalist, Dimitri Adhikari, to come on the stage and do his presentation. So, Dimitri Adhikari.
I graduated from BUET just 11 days ago. While only 1 hour remained before the very last exam of my entire BUET life, I got a call. A pregnant lady needed emergency blood in Lab Aid Hospital. Without any hesitation, I rushed to the place. You might be thinking, am I crazy or something? To answer that very question, let's rewind 1 year. It was the time of Ramadan, during which commuting in Dhaka takes a huge toll on you. My elder sister was pregnant back then. Everyone was delighted, until
a few days before Eid. All of a sudden, she began to scream in excruciating pain and became pale just like a piece of tissue. The doctor informed us that she was suffering from ectopic pregnancy, a maternal casualty causing internal bleeding, and she needed 3 bags of blood within just 30 minutes. We searched for blood in every possible network, every social platform, each and every blood management website. And at last, we were able to find 3 donors. 2 of them lived in Mirpur and 1 in Mohammadpur, while my sister was in Dhaka Medical College. The donors couldn't make it in time, and we couldn't save my sister. The memory still haunts us. No amount of money or service can ever return the state of peace my family members used to be in. I just wished I could have found some nearby donors. And from that day, I decided that I would never refuse to donate blood under any circumstances, and I would solve this problem once and for all. Distinguished panel of judges and August gathering, I present to you the first ever GPS tracking-based blood donation mobile application in the whole world. Drops of life, because every drop counts. We generally look for blood in voluntary organizations, blood banks, social platforms, among our friends, family members. But what if my friends and family already donated blood within the past 120 days? The voluntary organizations or blood banks go out of that specific type. The available donor does not see your Facebook post in time, or blood is required at a far distance. It might be too late before which we can actually manage a donor. So, here comes my big idea. My big idea is to bridge the information gap and share the knowledge which can potentially save thousands of lives. Don't believe my idea? Okay, let's see some numbers. In Bangladesh, there are about 800,000 voluntary donors, but still in 2015, against the annual demand of 500,000 units, the amount collected was only 362,000 units. This huge lackings was only due to information gap and time constraint. But not to worry. Drops of life is the perfect solution to this problem. But how? Simple. So the technology works just like Uber. You request for blood through my application, and it generates the nearby available donors according to the proximity to your location. Let's see a very short demonstration. So can you please just click on the photo? So you see, we have to just select the blood type and request for blood, and voila. It generates the list of donors according to their ascending order of distance from the place of request. Now, donors don't always keep their locations turned on in their mobile phone, right? So in that case, you can also search in our offline database, and that's where our advanced search algorithm will come in handy. What's that? So we will take 2 addresses, home address and office address from our users while creating a profile. During the weekdays from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., the work address will get preference, and during the other time, home address. Simple, isn't it? Moreover, our app sends instant notification to the requester and the donor, but on the basis of which criteria? So look, there is an option of maximum distance any donor is willing to travel, which is customizable from user to user. For my part, I have kept it to 6 kilometers. For example, you requested for O positive blood. Now, if I come within the range of 6 kilometer radius from your place of request, both you and I will get an instant notification, and thus it will ensure the maximum efficiency. Now, whether our app is actually more efficient than the existing ideas. In Bangladesh, the existing projects includes a few Facebook pages, a couple of websites, which maintain a database, which is not even updated regularly and needs huge number of volunteers for its operation. While Drops of Life fetches real-time data, updates automatically, requires negligible number of volunteers, and thus it reduces the processing time by almost 60%. Now the real question is, why I am the guy you should rely upon for this project? To begin with, I have already stated that I have a personal attachment to the cause, and that's why I'm so much passionate about it. Secondly, I come from an engineering background, and thus I will better understand the technical parts of the app, which I guess is the basic part. Number 3, previous working experience. Being a student of Cadet College, I was fortunate enough to be associated with few of the blood donation campaigns of Old Rajshahi Cadets Association, and where I created a huge network. Number 4, from day one in my university life, I was associated with Badhon as a volunteer and also a donor. So thus, it will be easier for me to collaborate with them. Number 5, you can say that my app is a kind of social entrepreneurship, right? So I have a rock solid background in social entrepreneurship. In 2016, I was the semi-finalist of HALT Prize, which is the world's largest social entrepreneurship program for students. And the last reason, the strongest of all, I have got a very dedicated team behind me. You can see the middle person, Ragi Bishrak, right? He was also a participant of this year's TYF with another idea, but he couldn't make it through to the finals. But still, he worked relentlessly for the past 6 days to build the prototype of my project, because we don't only care for this competition, rather we genuinely care for the cause. To sum it up, I dream of a Bangladesh where no one would die because of apparent unavailability of blood and lack of information. And so should all of you, because saving a life is now only 2 clicks away. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience hearing. Thanks to all.
Thank you very much, Dimitri, for your amazing presentation. Now we would like to invite the judges to ask Dimitri questions.
So let me start this time, because I'm not so familiar with how the health system works in Bangladesh. So my question would be, because there is no reference to hospitals or medical facilities, it's kind of, who is operating this app? How, because you present it as it's operated on sort of an individual personal basis, but I believe it must be linked to some kind of hospital system or some medical system.
So actually it is more of an app which tracks the voluntary blood donors, and thus it will be actually connecting people who are willing to donate blood. But in case some people don't have access to mobile phones or the smartphones, right? In those cases, we will collaborate or have our team with different hospitals and where our app will be established, and they will do the search algorithm for them. And thus we try to incorporate our process.
Next question.
I think, first of all, this is a great cause, and I'm sorry to hear about your sister.
Yes, sir.
But I also felt that, yes, the application helps a certain population of our country.
Yes.
We're still in the phase of having internet reach the mass of our country.
Yes, sir.
I would like to hear your views around how do you really see this expanding beyond a population base who has access to smartphone.
So, sir, as I already mentioned, the app will be established in different hospitals and blood banks also, where our team will work and collaborate with some of the volunteers there, and they can do the research work for the people who are not actually having access to the smartphones. And also, after scaling up a bit, we would like to establish a helpline which will also be connected to our app, so that those who don't have the smartphones, at least they can call us and tell us that I need blood, and thus we can do that for them.
We still have time. No more questions?
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you, ma'am.
I have one question, and that is, have you looked at in the market, and who would be, is there a similar idea or app or product or service, whatever you want to call it, is available in the market right now?
Okay, ma'am. So there, as I mentioned, there are a few Facebook pages and websites which maintain an offline database, and they only have one address that may be their home address. So they don't actually get to know the practical scenario in which if the people mentioned in the list are actually in their neighborhood. And also there is an app recently launched in Bangladesh. It's known as Revive. So in Revive, they also do the same thing. They just have an offline database, which is in the form of an app, but no GPS system in the whole world whatsoever, anywhere, nowhere in the world.
All right. Thank you very much, Dimitri, for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
All of these presentations were so great that we didn't even realize that we have almost reached the end of these presentations. So it's time for our final finalist to take the stage, Ms. Tasnia Tasnim. If I don't have a safe childhood myself, how would I talk about bringing peace in our society? So my app connecting the innovation piece is peace begins at home. Safe. So the problem that I'm going to focus on is child abuse, which is quite common in our societies all over the globe. So basically, parents don't educate their children about this topic. There is a lack of communication between them. And parents, they live under the pretense that it doesn't happen in my family. It doesn't happen with my children. It's not common for them. And also, if some parents are aware about this, but they are not sure if this happens with their sons, they think it's more of a daughter-related issue. So as children, they don't know about this. They're not aware about this. When this happens, they don't know what is happening to them. And when they get to know, it's already too late. And abusers try to, out of fear, out of, shame, they are asked to stay in the state of silence. So prevention is always better than cure. After affected by a child abuser, it seems the children are having problems with trusting people. They seem to look at people like, maybe this is my next abuser, or this is the person who's going to do something wrong with me. So there is a lack of trust between them. Then they also hide what happened to them because of the lack of acceptance from their friends and family. And there is a parental gap created because they try to blame their parents in their minds, like they cannot share. At the same time, they think, why my parents were not concerned about me? Because of them, I'm suffering through this. And they try to, as an adult, have less confidence and less self-esteem. There are also physical abuse, and you can see injuries, unexplained bruises, and in some cases, STDs. Some girls might also get pregnant. So my app is basically about an interactive gaming app. It's called Safe. Here, I will be asking the children to learn more about their body parts, their private parts, and their gender, so a male child can understand why the female child is different, or vice versa. And once they know, they can also differentiate between good language, bad touch, good touch. Then they will be aware. Once they're aware, they need to know how to react to it, how to say stop, how to shout, when to scream, and who to contact, their safe person. It can be their parents, it can be their sister, brothers, or any elderly. This app might also focus on additional areas like puberty and sex that we are not concerned and we don't talk to our children about it. So basically, my targeted audience are the parents and the teachers who are going to convey this message, this education towards the children. And innovation, if I talk about this app, yeah, there are similar apps which also work on the similar concept, but those are mainly educative apps. Like they tell you, like, this is not good, this is not bad, you should do this, you shouldn't do this. So children, they maybe hear it once, then they forget. But once, if it's a game app, they're going to play it. So it will be within them. They are going to learn from it, and they will be implementing it. Both parents and teachers will be involved, so there will be always parental guidance while using the app. Age sensitivity will be also controlled. There will be no censor images. So to use this app, you need to have an user ID and password. So that makes sure that the children cannot start using it with their own personal concept. They need a mobile phone, they need the app downloaded, they need someone's user ID and password. And they can select games and all the levels will be unlocked. So you cannot jump right into how to stop or shout without knowing the beginning levels. There will be characters, they can choose, and then they will be more interacted with the app. So I need supports like technological supports, of course financial supports, and developer, designer, and some parenting lessons, because in Bangladesh or in South Asian countries, parents do not support yet to talk about this issue. I will ask these donors to invest in this because they're already working on child and their safety issues, so they will be willing to take action on this. So the costing, there will be some costing related to the designer, developer, and launching apps. And there might be also some additional promotion costings. So why I chose this? Because as a child, I was also a victim. And many of us are here as well. I know we don't speak about it, but when we start, we get to know we are not the only one. And I don't want my future children to be in that stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Tasneem, for having the courage to address such a sensitive issue. So we'll move on to the judges for the question and answer session.
Thank you once again for bringing this subject that really needs a lot of awareness. And that brings me to my question, actually. I think it's a great idea to have an app, which can help you understand how to address this issue. But I believe, and I think you've mentioned it, in our society there's an ignorance to this problem.
Yes.
People, parents, guardians don't realize that it really exists. How do we raise that awareness first before they actually reach out to using the app to hopefully prevent it happening to their children?
So basically, I also included among my supports, I need parenting lessons. So we can introduce, in different schools, we can approach to different schools, and we can explain our idea to them. And once they're convinced, they can convince the parents. There are always, in good reputed schools, there are monthly parent meetings and other things. They are all concerned about their children, but they don't know it's happening with their children. That's why they don't give it a shot. Once, they will see, we don't really need to talk about it. We can just ask them to play the game. This will be a communication process, so they won't be hesitated anymore.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Tasnia. I want to commend you for sharing your personal story with us. I think it takes a lot of courage, so thank you. And also you took this, your personal reason, and you kind of took it in a social level and trying to make a difference. That is noble. My question is, have you thought about partnering with, there are different NGOs and companies like Maya.
Yes.
Have you thought about partnering with them, taking the idea to them, and possibly doing something with that?
Yeah, I would like to go through with the local NGOs first, and once I can reach them, I can pitch my idea in front of them, and they're convinced, I can take it to an international level and then make it a bigger change in the society.
We still have time if you have any more questions. All right, I guess that wraps it up for Tasneem. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was our last finalist, Tasneem. So as you see, ladies and gentlemen, this is what Telenor Youth Forum is all about. We have heard ideas about collaboration, we have heard ideas about how we can get together and solve problems better when we work together. So now, as you remember, the first finalist, Anaf, he was basically complaining to me that, you know, Rafsan bhai, no one comes to the stage of Telenor Youth Forum alone. You have your family, you have your friends from your school, you have your friends. So my team wasn't really ready for this. So now we'll basically have a battle for the supporters. So I'll be announcing the name of the finalists once again, and I'll like to see how you cheer, how loud you are for your favorite finalists. So first of all, it's for Anaf. That's a lot of support, Anaf. Let's hear it for Ronnie. Let's hear it for Rakib Rahman Shaun. And then we have Shamil Murtaz. We have Mia Mokhain. And then we have Dimitri Adhikari. And last but not the least, we had Ms. Tasnim. You've won a lot of hearts. So now, before we move on to the next segments, it's my pleasure to call upon the CEO of Grameenphone, Mr. Michael Foley, to come up here and share a few words with us on this wonderful occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, on stage, Mr. Michael Foley.
Wow. Nurul Islam Nahid, the Honorable Minister of Education. I'm so happy to have Her Excellency Sitsel Blekken here tonight, the Ambassador for Norway. Our dear judges, Tina, I think we have to open an office for you in this location. My colleagues from the management team, our guests, our friends, but especially you, the contestants. You know, 1,400 people actually indicated their interest to be part of this. And I think that's got to be a record so far. 1,407 showed up. So that's 0.5% of contention ratio. So you're already incredible people. In listening to you tonight, I was excited. I was impressed by skills and presentation. I was bowled over by energy. And in many cases, I was moved emotionally. You have fantastic ideas. And all your ideas are focused around one thing: making Bangladesh a better place. And I think that's noble, and I think that requires a round of applause. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to present some winners at Seed Stars, and these people are going, the two winners that we have, are going to Bangkok and then are going to Switzerland later on. And today we're doing this. And in both days, we've seen incredible energy, drive, intelligence, eloquence, and incredible innovation and creativity to create a better place. And yesterday I mentioned, and today I mention again, that it takes a lot of courage to take your idea, something you think about passionately, personally, emotionally, and come up on stage and nakedly present it to people for judgment. That takes a lot of courage. When you become part of this journey, this year-long journey at the Youth Forum, when you go to Oslo and participate with this, there's a lot of advantages. The trip to Oslo and the trip to the Nobel Peace Prize, well, that's amazing. But the life-changing piece of it will be the relationships that you build with people like you from across the whole portfolio of the Telenor Group, from Norway to Malaysia, through South Asia and Central Europe. People like you will gather to share the best ideas they have about building a better society. And those relationships, if you do that right, will stay with you for the rest of your life. They will be enriching and helpful, and they will be constructive in helping you build your dreams. And if I'm addressing mostly you, it's because I really want to address mostly you. You have a very special gift. You have vision, passion, courage, and great ideas. You can only pick two to go to Norway at this time. But all of you have great merit in what you've done here today. I want to close by saying that education is fundamental to the success and the growth of the nation. And the government of Bangladesh has made great strides in bringing education to girls and bringing education to the masses. It is the fundamental source of economic and social competitive advantage in the world that we live in today. Increasingly digitized, increasingly international, increasingly competitive. Education is the fundamental source of growth for any society. Education of both boys and girls, equally. And for us at Telenor, and for us at Grameenphone, the key contribution we make is by making this society more digital. This is a fundamental vector for future competitiveness of our economy. And by bringing digital societies together, and by removing the digital divide, and by removing inequalities within society, we make our contribution. We're a phone company, but we're much more than that. As the ambassador will tell you, we are a creature of the Norwegian government. We're 53% owned, Telenor, by the Norwegian government. We carry within us those genes and those values around the world, humbly, but with enthusiasm. Because we think that what we bring as a company is more than just being a phone company. Much more. In 21 years, we have probably done, well, we've probably been one of the key influences in the fabric of society in Bangladesh, a positive one. What we do is important. How we do it is more important. And the rest that we add is probably fundamental. We empower societies through telecommunications and the way that we actually do business. And the way we actually do business is getting to people like you. 1,400 that had a chance to test their ideas, 7 that are here on stage, 2 that will go to Norway and that will get to test their ideas against the best in the world. I'm Canadian, I'm not Norwegian, but I carry this flag well. I try to, okay? We're very close. We can be humble and enthusiastic at the same time. Our ideas are not always perfect. Our approach is not always perfect. But our values are very much those of respect and simplicity. And we really, really, really are enthusiastic about what we're doing here in Bangladesh. And I wish you all the best. For the 2 that are coming to Norway and all of you. The future of this great country, this young country, is in the hands of you and of people like you. And we will stand beside you, we will encourage you, we will mentor you, we will give you exposure, and we will always be there to help build on the the demographic dividend of this country. If we're not doing that, then we're failing. We're just an ordinary phone company, and that's not what we are. Congratulations to all 7 of you.
Thank you so much, Michael, for a very heartfelt and very inspiring speech. Now, we've all listened to the 7 presentations tonight, and I'm sure all of you will agree with me that they were absolutely brilliant. We have someone with us tonight who I am sure is also as proud of our contestants tonight as we all are. I would now like to invite on stage our chief guest for tonight, Mr. Nurul Islam Nahid, Honorable Minister for Education, to kindly say a few words. Can we please have you on stage, sir? He has been working diligently for the betterment of education in our country, and it has been a story of success. So we would like to hear from you, sir.
Honorable CEO of Grameen Phone, Her Excellency Ambassador of Norway, honorable judges, the members of the Grameen Phone family, the honorable guests, my dear finalist participants, and ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you all. It is really my honor and privilege to be here with you in this evening in such a great occasion. Such many occasions I had the opportunity to be present to Grameen Bank's such type of functions which encourages our young people. Today's theme, I think, was digitalization of peace. And our young people, they have chosen their ideas, they have expressed very well, and their ideas were very noble, and they chosen those people, those who are deprived of many things socially, economically in the society, and also deprived by nature themselves. So I congratulate them for their ideas, for their explanation, and for their valuable arguments they have given for their own subjects. This is a very important thing, you know, digitalization. Today is the era of digitalization. The priority of our country, of Bangladesh, is digitalization. We have named our country a digital Bangladesh. We want to build up our, you have said, young country. Yes, this is still a young country, but we have a very big, novel goals to achieve. And education also you have given importance. You all give importance to that. The aim of our education is very much related with the aim of our nation to achieve the status of a middle-income country by 2021, which was expressed through our liberation struggle in 1971, led by the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The main aim we have set up before us of education is to prepare our new generation as a builder of modern, developed Bangladesh. And for that, we need our young people to prepare with world standard education, knowledge, technology, and skill, without which we cannot place ourselves in our own position, a respectable position in this world. So I thank Grameen Phone, the CEO, and all of you that you have organized such an event where our young people, they have come through competition. They are finalists all. And I don't know who are going to participate in Norway. And I hope that all they have proved themselves that they have their own ideas, they have their own judgments, they have their own logic, they have proved it. But I am very much impressed that they all have chosen those people, those who are deprived of this by society, by economically, socially, and by nature. And this is their, I think, the main positive thinking, that they are in favor of the deprived people, in favor of all of our people, those who have deprived themselves in the country. I don't want to take more time because we all are waiting to listen to the names, those who have been selected by the judges. But I think that all have proved their ability, their thinking, their ideas, and everything. I congratulate all of you, and I hope that you will, in future, will have the new ideas in many fields, and you will lead this country to the goal of our nation. And here present, all the guests, all the ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much, and I thank again Grameen Phone for giving me this opportunity, a great honor for me. I thank you again. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
you very much, Honorable Minister, for your kind words and for lending us your time tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been listening to a lot of presentations and a lot of speeches, so I think we all need some kind of refresher, right? Some entertainment.
Exactly. So while the evaluation process is going on, we'll basically be enjoying a musical performance by a band. Silverlight will be coming on here shortly after the stage is set up. And yes, we'll be enjoying some musical performances as you all need a nudge again.
So this music thing reminds me of something that our finalists must be also thinking about, the Nobel Peace Prize concert. The winners get to go there and enjoy this ultimate stage. So Rasan, tell us about your experience at the Nobel Prize concert.
Well, I think the most important thing that I remember about the Nobel Peace Prize concert is that the Norwegians, they always say one thing, that is, peace is loud. So at first, it's like a challenging concept to believe in. How can peace be loud? But then again, gradually, I was getting to understand how this works. But before I get into my experience, I would challenge you to share with us the lineup that you had while you were there.
Well, yeah, I know you've had a better lineup last year than ours. So yeah, I'll just let you show off who were the ones performing in 2016. So,
all right, so we had Halsey, we had Juanes, who is a legendary Colombian singer. So let me tell you this one thing. While Juanes was performing on the stage, the Nobel laureate, Juan Manuel Santos, actually got up from his seat and was clapping for Juanes himself. And then we had the star of the show,
yes,
Sting.
You had Sting, yes. So, but you know, our seats were just beside the stage. You guys were far off.
Yeah, I think that's the only consolation that you have, that our seats were just beside the stage. Doesn't matter who was singing on the stage or not, but yeah, right.
All right, so
but this is one interesting thing about the concert, though. I was trying to track what people were doing and, you know, how especially Norwegians like to enjoy themselves while a concert is going on. So, as you know, like Telenor Youth Forum gathers people from 13 different countries. So we had different sorts of celebrations, different sorts of dance moves, different sorts of, you know, cultures mixing in together in the audience. But for the Norwegians, it was just one move. They sway from right to left once and then left to right once. That's it. No, like, doesn't matter what song is that, doesn't matter how upbeat, how slow, is the only move. I'm sorry if I'm like stereotyping or something, but that's the only thing that, got my attention.
Another thing that really struck me was the magnanimity of the whole thing. You know, our concert was at the Telenor Arena, and it was like the biggest place I've ever been to, and the whole grandiose was so striking. I was thinking that I don't think I'll ever be in such a grand place again in my life.
I think we could do something like because we get to announce the winners, let's just scratch their names and like put our names in there, or maybe something like that, so that we can go back or something. But yeah, so we can do that. Can do that. At least take us with them, maybe. All right.
So I think the band is ready.
Yeah, they're almost ready. So ladies and gentlemen, within a few moments, we'll have Silverlight performing for you. So till then, enjoy this celebration of peace, because we just told you, peace is loud. Thank you.
Hello. All right, hi everyone. We are Silverlight. Just a little bit of an introduction before we begin. I'm Ashreen, and we've got Numeri on percussions, we've got Brenton on the guitar over there, and we've got Shafat on the guitar over here, and I've got a little guitar of my own. So kudos to all the participating teams who've come here today in the Telenor Youth Forum. We're really happy to be here and to perform for you guys. We'll be doing a very few very common songs that you all know. We would really love it if you sing along with us. So we're going to start off with our first song. It's called Summer of '69. so much. This is another classic. It's a song that's really close to our hearts. It's called Imagine. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one. Imagine no possessions. Wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one. It's Imagine by John Lennon. Thank you. All right. We're going to try a song by the Cranberries. Any guesses what that song might be? Somebody said Zombie. Yeah, it's Zombie. Here we go. Zombie by the Cranberries. Thank you. All right, this is going to be our last song. This is an original song which has been composed by us, written by a friend of ours. We're going to give it a go. This is actually the first time that we're performing this live, so fingers crossed on how it's going to turn out to be. So this is Basta Shohor. It's from our album, which is due to be released soon. You can follow us on our Facebook page. We're Silverlight. Thanks for having us. So this is Basta Shohor by Silverlight.
ঘন কালো মেঘ জমে যায়
Basta Shohor by us. Thanks so much for having us. Congratulations to all of you, and may the best team win. Thanks.
Check. All right, now is the time we have all been waiting for, the moment of truth. We have arrived at the grand finale winner announcement section, and to do the honors, I would like to invite our honorable jury on stage.
Exactly. So for this part, we'd like to invite on stage, first of all, our chief guest of the night, Honorable Minister for Education, Mr. Nurul Islam Nahid. He will be accompanied by a special guest, Ms. Cecil Blecken, Norwegian Ambassador to Bangladesh, Mr. Michael Foley, CEO of Grameenphone, and all of our jurors, Qazi Mahmoud Hassan, Tania Zabin. We have Qazi Mohammed Shahid, and also Mr. Nehal Ahmed. So I believe we are ready for the announcements, and yeah, we're going to need the microphones in the hands of the special guests and Ms. Tania Zabin, because I believe you already have the results, ma'am. So here for the announcement, a winner one.
So winner one is Mia Moakai.
To please be there. Could you please be there? Yeah. So now for the announcement of the second winner, we'd like to request Ms. Tania Zabin to do the honor.
So winner number 2 is Make Them Strong, Rakib Rahman.
Make them strong. We have Rakib Rahman Town. One by one, and to receive their gifts for being the finalists of Telenor Youth Forum 2017 from an honorable jurors. So, the finalists, please come on the stage one by one.
Can we
all
please
of you.
have all the finalists on stage one by one?
First of all, I'd like to request Mr. Qazi Mohammed Shahid to do the honor of presenting a crest to Dimitri Adhikari. Please receive the crest from Qazi Mohammed Shahid. Next, we're going to have Ms. Tania Zabin to present the crest to Shamil Murtaz. Next, I would like to request Mr. Nehal Ahmed to present the crest to our finalist Asan Rani. Next, Mr. Kazim Abu Hussein will be presenting a crest to Ms. Tasneem. And finally, we'd like to request Mr. Michael Foley to present the crest to Anaf Buck. So now is the time for a photo. So yes, this photo is going to go places. So let us all stand together. And this is the moment for the winners and for the finalists of Telenor Youth Forum 2017.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here tonight. Sir, over to you.
All right. Every time I sit in the judging panel, I am inspired. I'm absolutely fascinated by the ideas. Today, I thought I'm in a wrong seat. Just because I thought at the end of the day, I have to choose only 2, not 7. So this was the toughest kind of judging job I had ever done. But the fascinating ideas really will leave us with a lot of inspiration for days and months and years to come. So thank you very much for all the participants for that. And I will have to thank all your cheers and the support that you bring from your institute and your university. Yes, thank you very, very much. Thanks for coming. Thanks for supporting your candidate. And keep on doing that, because this is not the end of the journey. This is the beginning of the journey. So thank you very much. Thanks for everything that you do to support them. And thank you, everyone who are here to make this event very, very successful one. Thank you.
We would like to conclude our event tonight over here, but last but not the least, we have dinner served at the GP House cafeteria. I would like to invite all of you to join us for dinner and head towards the GP House cafeteria. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Goodbye and good night.
Yep, thank you.